So, you want to learn how to play Big Conspiracy Card Game? Well, you've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Jake, and I'm the creator of Big Conspiracy Card Game, and I'm here to teach you how to play. First, you need a copy of Big Conspiracy Card Game, and I have a brand new copy right here, so let's unbox it. Bonus unboxing! While this is going on, I'll tell you a little bit about the game. In Big Conspiracy Card Game, players play as conspiracy theorists investigating the big conspiracy. Bonus unboxing! Each player is biased in their own way, and will try to connect conspirators that fit their bias, and will try to block conspirators that don't fit their bias. The first player to deplete all of their bias cards wins. Now the second thing you're going to need is an opponent, or up to 7, because the game is for 2 to 8 players. And I happen to have an opponent right here. Now as the creator of the game, and the guy who's in the videos and stuff, I'm going to play as Ego. And my opponent is going to play as Evil, because he's a jerk. Now it's time to get set up. Please note that the setup instructions begin on the box. Begin by separating the cards into conspirator, research, and bias decks. Shuffle the conspirator and research decks separately, but don't shuffle the bias cards. Because there's only 2 players in this game, each player will place 7 bias cards in front of them. Next, deal 13 conspirator cards brown side up in the middle of the table, leaving a little space in between them. Leave the deck brown side up. Then deal a hand of 10 research cards to each player. Leave the research deck face down. If your game group likes to play in a kitchen, or if you just want to have drinks handy, this is a really great game to play in your fridge. In Big Conspiracy Card Game, players take turns going clockwise. During a turn, the player must perform 1 of 4 actions. The player can either research, connect a conspirator to the big conspiracy, clear a conspirator, or use a Voice of Reason card. Whoever has seen the most UFOs goes first. Pretty straightforward, we've all seen one. So how many have you seen? 0. Really? You've never seen a UFO? Yeah, don't look at the sky, man. The government's got satellites up there that'll scan your retinas. Okay. Well, I've seen one, so I'll go first. Players start the game with a maximum number of cards in their hand. So the most common first move is to try to connect a conspirator. In order to connect a conspirator, the player must satisfy 2 conditions. First, the icon that represents the player's bias needs to be on the conspirator card. And second, the player must present evidence that adds up to the number on the conspirator card. It's good strategy to target a conspirator with a low number that competes directly with your opponent. During this turn, I'm going to say the president joined the big conspiracy, so you could say, I put the big in big conspiracy. And I know this because a phone psychic told me this, and the crows caught this. The next step before we confirm it is we have to go around the room clockwise and find out if anyone can challenge my accusation. In order to challenge this particular accusation, my opponent would need a Voice of Reason card that says blocks fringe media, blocks pieces fit, or blocks evidence. Do you have anything that says that? So I don't have any Voice of Reason cards that match any of his evidence, or I just choose not to challenge. So by rule I have to say, that makes sense to me. Great! When a connection works, the player will discard his evidence and flip over the conspirator card so that it overlaps his bias card. And just like that, the first conspirator is on the board. Now it's my turn, and I'm also going to make an accusation. I'm going to say a local attorney with a catchphrase lives atop a forgotten cemetery and joined the big conspiracy when disturbed spirits asked for me time. And what do you know? I read this on an old gravestone, my drunk friend slurred this in a moment of clarity, and airplane chemtrails spelled this out in the sky. Now, just like when it was my turn, I get a chance to block my opponent. And I actually have a Voice of Reason card that matches your face-to-face evidence. Now, my opponent gets the opportunity to challenge my Voice of Reason. And again, because I can't argue with his Voice of Reason, I have to say, I can't argue with that. When a connection is blocked, all evidence and Voices of Reason go to the discard pile, and the player keeps his bias card. So now it's my turn again, and I'm also going to go after a local attorney with a catchphrase. And I believe that he saw the big conspiracy on the news and joined to become part of the story. And this is a promo code for free pizza delivery, and anyone who disagrees with this is a moron. Once again, my opponent has a chance to challenge. Haha! And this time, I can block you with this Voice of Reason card that matches your intuition evidence. Well, good for me, I have a Voice of Reason that blocks your Voice of Reason. Do you have a Voice of Reason that blocks my Voice of Reason? No. So what do you say? I don't. That's not it. That makes sense. Great! So I score this time. Now it's my turn again, and this time, instead of connecting a conspirator, I'm going to use a Voice of Reason to steal 3 cards from your hand. It's important to note that at no time can a player's hand exceed 10 cards, so if these stolen cards cause my hand to exceed 10 cards, I would have to discard some at the end of my turn. Now it's my turn again, and because I'm almost out of cards, I'm going to have to do some research. And because I have less than 5 cards, I get to draw until I have 5 cards back in my hand. It keeps the game going, you know? The game continues on like this until there arises a need or advantage to swap out a conspirator for the top conspirator on the deck. Here, there are no conspirators left who are compatible with the evil bias. So Evil's going to choose to clear a conspirator. In order to clear this conspirator, Evil's going to have to produce some evidence. Note that any evidence works for this action, even dubious sources. If the attempt to clear the conspirator passes any challenges from opponents, then the player will create a new discard pile for the cleared conspirator and replace the cleared conspirator with the top conspirator on the conspirator deck. Games often intensify when players begin to use this mechanic. The game ends when a player uses their last bias card to connect a conspirator to the big conspiracy. Wow, look at it, there it is! I told you it was real and you said I was crazy, but there it is, right there! When a player depletes all their bias cards, they win, like I just did. And good triumphs over evil. Your bias was ego, not good, jackass. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy playing Big Conspiracy Card Game. Bonus unboxing!
Oh, what?